Hi, how you guys doing? Okay, so I decided that I need to share this because, oh my gosh, it's so incredible. So I'm gonna be turning 25 in a couple of hours, and I just want to share a little with you guys what's been happening in the last little while with me. Okay, let me start with last week. So last week, I think I had the most amazing day ever in my life, and it started out like a regular day. So it was Wednesday. And I normally look forward to Wednesdays because I don't have work because I volunteer in the afternoon and it's really a chill, relaxed day, not rushing to go anywhere. Wednesday, I woke up, did my devotion, had breakfast, took a shower, got ready, went on my way. Of course, on the TTC. So, I ran, caught my 53. I was good, got off at Warden, waited for the 68, and my phone rang. Now, it was an unfamiliar number. It's a long distance number. Normally, you guys know me, I don't really answer my phone. But recently, I've really been answering my phone because when you send out resumes, you're going to answer your phone. It doesn't matter who's calling. And since I'm planning a wedding, different vendors are calling me all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that I answered just in case it's the big thing that I needed. So I can't really hear what's going on because I don't know if you guys remember the beginning of last week, but it was a lot of wind, a lot of rain, cars are zooming past, and you really can't hear anything. So I have an old phone. I have the iPhone, like the second version, like the one they made 3.5 years ago, and it's you can't really hear anything, so it's very difficult. So anyway, this long distance number shows up on my phone, and I'm like, "Hello." And the person sounds like we're familiar with each other, like we know each other, and I really can't hear and I don't recognize the voice. And the person's like, "Hey, this is, let's say his name is John. Hey, this is John. Yeah, I was told that I need to call you because there's something important that we have to talk about." And I'm like, "What? Who's John?" And I'm like, "What? I can't hear you. Can you speak up?" And I asked this person to this like 4 times. And then after a while, I'm like, "You know what? Can you just call me in about 10 minutes? Um, Hopefully then I could hear you." And then the person was like, "Okay, sure, no problem." So he hung up. And I'm thinking, okay, 10 minutes because in 10 minutes and I'll either A, be on the bus already and I'll be a little bit more quiet, or B, I'll be at my destination so that I could really hear whoever this is and what they have to say. So after John hang up, I realized who John was. Now, John is a cousin of mine who molested me when I was little, when I was 4. And immediately when I realized who it was, I was sitting in the bus and I was panicking. Like I'm not even joking. I was panicking. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and my mouth is open, like my jaws dropped to the floor, and I'm shaking and I'm like, "Oh my God, like why is he calling me? How did he get my number? What does he want? What should I say? What's he gonna say? What's going on?" Like, I never pictured that my day would be turning out like this. Like, I don't understand what's going on, right? Okay. So I told him, call me back in 10 minutes. So 5 minutes passes by and he didn't call yet. I text my fiance and I'm like, "Yo, can you just stop whatever you're doing and pray for me because I have no idea what's going on right now, but I'm gonna need you to, tell Jesus that I need his help." I also text my best friend and I told her and she's like, What's going on?" And I'm like, "You know what? I don't have time to tell you what's going on right now, but just please do it for me." And she's like, "What should I be praying for?" I'm like, "You know what? Pray for strength because that's probably what I need." So 10 minutes passed by now, and I am like, I lost it. Like, I wasn't angry, but I was confused. Like, I don't know what's going on. 15 minutes, okay, this is when I start to cry. So I'm crying on the bus, and everyone's looking at me like, "What is she doing? Like, is she okay?" But no one's saying anything to me, and that's probably good because I didn't want to say anything to anyone else because I don't know these people. Anyway, so I'm on the bus, and I'm losing my mind. And after a while, I'm like, "You know what? Let me just pray," because there've been times in my life where I've prayed about things and they worked out miraculously well. Like things that I never expected just happened and more. So I was crying. I'm trying to wipe my face, and I'm like, "Dear Jesus, I don't even know what to pray for right now, but please help me. You've helped me before in the past with other things, and I'm gonna definitely need your help with this phone call that I'm not prepared for. I don't even know what's going on." Okay, so I get to my stop and I'm walking to where I volunteer at this school. So I'm walking and I'm looking at my phone, nothing. I'm holding my phone in my hand because I have this old busted phone. It doesn't always ring when it's supposed to ring. So I'm having it just in case because I don't want to miss the call because it's long distance call and I don't have the money to be calling anybody back. Okay, so finally, as I turn and I reach the school, my phone rings. And um, John was like, "Hey, Zanette, can you hear me now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly well. Um, what's going on?" Right? I sounded super calm at the beginning of this call because, my man was somewhere else. So anyway, he's like, "Yeah, so I got an email or a call or something from your mom, and she said it was important. So, I'm just calling because there's something that we're supposed to talk about, but I'm not really sure." She was very ambiguous, and, I don't know what's going on. So, if you could shed some light on this. So I'm there thinking, what? How in the world does this guy not know why he's calling? Like, what's this big thing that he doesn't know why he's calling? Like, are you being serious? So I'm just like, really? You don't know anything about what you don't know? And he's like, no. So then I started out from the beginning. And then I was like thinking to myself, do I give this guy details or like do I hold anything back? Like what am I supposed to do? But anyway, I started. I was like, well, this was the summer that my mom was really sick. She was pregnant with my little sister and she sent us to another country for the summer to be with family, which included a lot of cousins. And we were downstairs watching a movie. Lights were off. You know how you normally watch a movie, right? When you're with your cousins. Anyway, so I told him what he did. I told him exactly what happened. Like I honestly, I didn't hold back anything. And I'm there, and I'm on the phone, and oh, it's one of those conversations that it's not one that you don't want to have, but it's one that you never actually picture yourself having, if that makes any sense. So then he was quiet on the other end, and he's kind of like, "Are you serious? What?" And I'm like, I didn't say anything because what am I gonna say? Like, yeah, because that's what happened. It's like, really? Like, so how old was I? Like 12, 13, like, And I'm like, I guess, because this guy's in his 30s, late 30s. I'm not really sure. I don't even know. But anyway, and he's like, wow, this is insane. Like, I can't even picture that happening because he has younger kids. He has kids who are the same age that I was at the time that this happened. And he was like, wow, this is interesting. I just had a talk with one of his children, right, about this, good touch and bad touch, etc. I'm thinking, I'm on the phone. I'm like, why is he telling me this? It's not like, who cares? Anyway, I know this story is a little drawn out, but just bear with me. Pop some popcorn, sit down, drink some juice while I finish the story. So, he's saying basically, are you sure it was me? And I can never picture myself doing that because I've never been an overly sexual person. He's just saying stuff, right? And at that point, I was kind of like, of course it was you. Like it would be anyone else. I know it was you. Then I told him exactly what he told me, like not to say, like how he said not to say anything, and it's the same words that he uses now in at the age that he's at now. I also went into detail about what he was wearing. I told him exactly the type of underwear he was wearing, the color, everything. I told him what I was wearing, all kind of stuff, because I remember these things, and I remember the smell of everything. I remember all of that foolishness. And basically, he's like, "Well, I don't remember this." Like he's in shock. I don't want to pass judgment as if he did or he didn't remember. I mean, I guess that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is while we're going through this conversation, he goes on to say that, I never thought, I could never picture that this would have happened because of the way that you act. And then I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I never feel that you hold any animosity towards me. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you never seem to be like angry or anything. And so then I took some time, I paused, because I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to say now? I'm like, honestly, every time I see you at family functions, I make sure I disappear. That's it. if I have to say hi to you, I'll say hi, and then I'm gone. Like I never stay. And he was like, okay, I never really noticed that. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not really the point. And I mean, throughout the conversation, I'm just there kind of like, what is going on? Like, I don't really understand why we're having this conversation on what this whole thing is about. Okay, so let's keep this in context. This happened the summer of 1992, and I've been holding on to this for that long. Okay, so when I was 4, I'm 24, I'm 25 tomorrow, whatever. So for 20 years, I've been holding on to this, and finally, we've been able to have somewhat of a conversation about this. And then he said that he was sorry, and I just started to cry. I didn't want to make it obvious that I was crying because I was still on the phone with him, but I was crying, and I was thinking, Zane, why are you crying? Blah, 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 blah. And then I told this John guy that, I forgave you a long time ago. I mean, you're saying you don't remember this, but it happened. He said he was sorry, so I told him, I'm thankful that you said sorry, because not everyone's gonna say sorry. Whether or not he meant the apology doesn't really matter to me. I think it was the fact that he said he was sorry, and that's why I just broke down outside. Um, anyway, I have been praying about this for forever, since I was 4. Cried myself to bed too many times for a couple of years. Was angry for too long. Just a lot of stuff. I mean, I smile now a lot more now that I'm older, but if you guys remember me in, I don't know, between ages 9 to 22, I was angry. I was angry. I did not smile. To me, I had nothing to smile about. I didn't smile. I was angry at the world. I didn't want to be anywhere where people were. Like, university was difficult for me, and it was difficult for many different reasons, but let me just tell you a little bit about it. I'm not the type of person who takes long to get anything done. Like, school has always been easy for me. It took me 6 years to get my first degree. Why did it take 6 years? Well, the first year, it was okay. I was bored, obviously, because I get bored about a lot of things. Second year, I failed everything. Third year, same story. Got kicked out of my program twice, I think. Anyway, so the next 3 years, I was doing school part-time. And during that process, I was like distressed. I had anxiety attacks often. I was depressed for 2.5 years, diagnosed with all kind of things, learning disabilities, um, intestinal issues. Because when you're going through things like what I was going through, it's very hard to concentrate on anything. It's very hard to see yourself out of your storm, basically. And I'd always, my parents had gone to church. They always went to church. My parents were nice people, and well, they are nice people, sorry. And I never was interested in the things that they did, whether at church or otherwise. Why? Because I was too focused on the negativity that I was seeing with the people that I would see when I would go to church. So I wasn't even interested in going to church, much less interested in Jesus or God or any of that business. But in my storm, which would be my experience at university, I was like, you know what, Jesus, I have nothing to lose. Please help me out, because this is like nothing was going right, you guys. Like, nothing was going right. And I asked God for help, and He delivered me. I'm talking big time, with everything, with nice professors, with LD counselors, with group, what are they called? Group stuff, where like you meet in a group and you talk about your problems, whatever that is. I got into this program downtown that helps adult survivors of sexual abuse. I got a therapist. He let me win thousands of dollars through different bursaries to pay for said therapist. What else did he do? He did so many things for me when I gave him a chance, because I really wasn't interested, but I needed help. Okay, I'm just saying all this to say that things happen to you in your past that can really mess things up for you. But the truth is that although people have hurt you, your future is not really up to them. These things happened, so we should try and move on. And the truth is, what I have found, my truth is that I was only able to move on once I asked Jesus to basically come into my life and turn it around. And that's exactly what he did. He turned it around for me. I was able to graduate with honors from an honor degree program. This is after failing. Like, no one has failed as much as me. I'm not even joking. Like, and I'm not talking about, oh, I got a 60. No, no, no. I'm talking about Fs, okay? And E's, because they did it at my school too. Anyway, so let's go back to this conversation now. So, did I get to the part where we hung up? Okay, whatever. So I'm on. This is still last Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm back to the story with my cousin John. We I said, take care, and he's like, yeah, whatever. No. I'm like, yeah, take care, and he's like, yeah, take care. And I'm like, all right, and I just hung up. And now it's raining, like it is raining, and I'm outside. I don't have an umbrella, I don't have anything, and I just sat down outside the school where I volunteer, and the tears and like it was like heaven was raining down on me, and I was crying down on myself, and it was just this thing where you would not want to see. I was hearing something, and I wasn't sure what I was hearing. Then I realized that it was me wailing, and I just took some time to just cry, just cry it out, just cry. And I was like, Zainat, why are you crying? And I was crying because I was relieved. It was as if I stopped breathing when I was 4, and God heard me, and he knew exactly what I needed. And maybe it was just a sorry, right? Because I had already forgiven him so that I could try and move on with my life. But I got a sorry for all that it's worth. I got a sorry 20 years later, and I just, I, I, I was so joyful that all I could do was sit down outside in the rain and just cry. So I just cried. I cried for about 20 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? Thank you, Jesus. Why am I saying thank you though? I'm saying thank you because I realized that everything that I ever asked for, God came through. Like anything. Like I'm not big, small, anything it was, I asked him for help and he came through big time. Like, my goodness, I'm sorry. He came through big time. Anyway, so I decided to go inside because I'm gonna be late, and I'm like co-director for this thing, and I don't like being late. Plus the kids are coming in, whatever. So I go inside, right? I wash my face because I have things to do. But I'm not one of those people who go through something and then they could be like sad, and then the next minute, no, I'm so happy, yay, rainbows, skittles. No, not like that. Me, like I've been crying, and you're gonna know because I just don't ever hide those things because I don't feel I need to. So I went in, washed my face, and I went to go speak to one of the ladies who's like ahead of me in this program. She's a former Canadian Olympian actually. And I was like, hey, she's like, hey, Zanelle, what's going on? And then she saw my face and she's like, whoa, what happened? And I'm like, honestly, I just got this call from my cousin who molested me when I was little, and he said he doesn't remember anything. And then she was like, oh my gosh, Zanelle, I'm so sorry. She's rubbing my back. And while this is happening, the program already started. So it's a recreation program, like a run and read program. So at that time, the kids were doing laps because we're training for our 5K in May. And they're running around and they're seeing me and they're like, hey, Coach Sinette. And like, they're so happy. And I'm just like, hey, like, I'm out of it. And then I was like, I'll be back. I went into the gym, and then I just was crying even more. I was just, you guys, like, I don't think I've ever cried as much as I have in the past 10 days. I wasn't sad. I was relieved. I was happy. It was a release. I wasn't holding on to this anymore. I wasn't angry. It was over with. And this says something to me about time. Like, we want something done. We want something done now. Like, I need this done and it needs to be done when I say it's done. No, Jesus has his own plans. And this one took 20 years for me. That's a long time. But it was the right time because I was ready to receive it, and my eyes were so positioned that I could see how much he loved me. And I think that's what overwhelmed me the most, that I had been praying about this and talking to him and begging him for some type of something to happen in this particular case. And it happened. Like, it happened. And that's why I was crying. And the lady came over, and when I was in the gym, the same lady, and she was holding on to me. And let me tell you, we spoke a little bit about, okay, she goes to church. I go to, well, you already know what I do. But anyway, she put down a prayer. Like, she laid hands on me and she was talking about, I can't even say what she said, but basically, Father in heaven, thank you. You sent your son here to deliver us from everything. She just went on talking about release, talking about strength, talking about power, and I was crying. And then all of a sudden, it was just this calm. And it wasn't that I was too, in my own world with those tears. Like, I knew exactly why I was crying. And it was because that I could feel that God loved me so much. And even more so with this lady, Sylvia. Like, I see Sylvia every week and we talk about a whole bunch of different things. But this lady came to me, and I wouldn't say while I'm in the depths of despair, because I was really praising God with my tears because I didn't have any words. Like, I still don't have any words for how happy I am and overwhelmed I am that happened. And I mean, it seems simple, like a call. Like, it seems simple, like oh, I'm sorry. But I've been waiting for something like that, like anything, for 20 years. And like, imagine holding on to that for so long. Like, it's really ridiculous. Like, your back breaks by the time you can do anything with your life. Anyway, she prayed for me. After that, I was able to get up, and I had the best Wednesday ever in life. With the kids, we're doing all kind of stuff. My kids were great, with their reading levels, with the new words, with the comprehension, with the running. They really did a great job. And I think I really felt like there was a perfect time and place for that phone call to happen. Because let's say I was at work, right? Or let's say I was at home by myself and that happened. It might have been a different story, but I was so positioned that I was in a place with other people who could hold me up, if that makes sense. That includes Sylvia, that includes the kids. It includes the founder of the program as well, who's a former pro baller who was there. He just happened to be there. And he was proclaiming things on my life, talking about, oh, I'm going to be going into policy. I told him what I did my degree, and I told him what I wanted to do. And he's like, oh, I got to introduce you to this person, this person. And he's just going on and talking about different things. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like the best day of my life. Like, and I was just in such shock that it was turning out to be this way. Because when I woke up on Wednesday morning, no idea that was going to happen. Okay, then I get a call. No, sorry, I get a text from my supervisor, and he's like, Sina, can you please call me? It's important. So I'm like, why is this guy texting me? Like, oh, sorry. Background to this job that, I was doing, I really didn't like it. And for people who know me, when I don't like a job, I leave. Like, the next day, the third day during break. Like, it's not that I'm not tenacious. I can be about certain things, but when I'm not feeling a position, I'm out. But anyway, so I get the text, so I call him, and I'm like, hey, Saba, how you doing? And he's like, hey, Zanette, so I've been looking over your stats and your numbers, and, I don't think this job is for you. And so I was like, oh my gosh, Saba, are you for real? It's perfect. Oh my gosh. And like, he was taken aback because, I didn't want this job. And I was telling Jesus every day, like, yo, I don't even want this job, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So basically, on Wednesday as well, I got fired. And I was like, yes, I don't have to go in tomorrow. But anyway, so many things. And then 20 minutes after this is while I'm still where I volunteer, right? I get a call, and this lady's like, oh, can you please come in for a job interview on Monday? And I'm like, oh, are you really serious? Anyway, so I don't even know if you understand anything that I've said in the last 24 minutes, but I just want you to remember that if you need any help with anything, big or small, all you have to do is be like, Jesus, can you help me out? Because a lot of times I find he was just waiting for me to ask. I didn't have to go through all of that foolishness. Like, I really didn't. But, I'm stubborn and I want to do my own thing. You know how I am. I'm Zinette. Come on. But, like, he was just waiting for me to acknowledge that he was around, that he, is God. And I remember, where's it taken from? I don't know, Philippians 4:6, I think. Be anxious for nothing, but in prayer and supplication, make your requests made known to God. To me, that means, Zina, don't even worry about it. Relax yourself. Sit down. Calm down, You don't have to be in a rush for everything. Everything doesn't have to happen when you want it to happen. Instead, what you can do is you could just let God know what's up. Let him know how you're feeling. Let him know, what you would love to see come out of this situation, and just see it happen. See it unfold. And, honestly believe in the things that you're asking for. Because I always knew that I was going to be delivered, or maybe that I had already been delivered, but I wasn't paying attention, or all kind of things. Like I knew that it was going to happen for me. I just didn't know when, didn't know how, didn't know I was going to get a call. And I don't know. There are a lot of things that we go through that no one knows about. People see people going around in life, and we judge them sometimes, and we have no idea what their childhood was like. We have no idea how that's impacting their adulthood lives and how they interact with other people, or their lack of interaction. Like for me, my personal space is 5 feet in every direction. I don't like people touching me for obvious reasons. Like, like a handshake. I don't like hugs. Hated hugs. Because that's my space, Like, I need my space. Now I'm learning to hug. It's actually not that bad. It's not as scary as I thought it would be. But you know what? Go out there, have a great day. Night, day, I don't know what time we're looking at this. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, it's done. It can be done. Everything's achievable, honestly. You don't even have to worry about if, I don't know how this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. It's going to happen. It's going to work out. Trust me. Well, actually, you don't have to trust me. Holler at Jesus. He'll take you through. Like, I'm not even playing. And I honestly just wanted people to know just a little bit about my life. Just a tiny little bit. Because God keeps blessing me with different things and experiences, and they're like super cool for me, but like I never share them, so I wanted to actually share this one. So take it for what it's worth, which is a lot. And this is just a little bit about the things that are happening to me in my life. And don't be afraid to share it, because I wasn't sure what I would say or how I would say it, because a lot of times people don't understand me. It's okay, because God understands you. Anyway, have a blessed life.